Leading off at second base, 18.
So stepping in now is Matt Birch, the second baseman. And an apology to anyone trying to listen on the Otters digital network. Must have had some sort of technical difficulty at the beginning of the game because it immediately kicked me off the live stream and I just now realized it. So I apologize to anyone who's been trying to listen that way. Birch lays down a bunt. It gets out of the glove of O'Reilly, and because of it, it'll be a leadoff man on due to the error.
So in other words, the last batter or two in the last inning.
The last few innings, yeah, just on our Otters Digital Network audio only stream.
So people don't remember about my dinner in Hollywood.
Well, all of our people here on Flow Sports do.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is just for the few people who are listening to just the audio only.
Oh, okay.
So we're all good there.
All right.
Maxwell at the plate now with one man on and nobody out here in the fifth. O'Reilly's going to have to work himself out of a...
Oh, you think they're bunting?
Not that time. It's hit sharply into center for the second straight inning. Back-to-back men on here for Joliet.
I bet right now they're bunting. It's a Maxwell's second hit in a row. And we've had this situation before where we had runners on second and first and second and no outs. And
catcher number 14,
we got out of it. Let's see if we can do it again.
So it's going to be a bit challenging here for Ryan O'Reilly and his defense around him. Going to have to take things one batter at a time.
Yeah.
First offering home to the catcher, J.P. Fullerton.
And he's showing, like we said.
It stays high for ball one.
You know, as many years as I've been in baseball, and it's a few, I have never been in witness to a triple play. I don't know. I mean, I've read about it, but I've never witnessed a triple play.
There was one in the Frontier League earlier this year. I believe it was Tri-City who turned it. 1-0 to Fullerton. It's bunted off to the left side, but foul, and the count evens.
And yet that was a good the batter executed a good style of bunting.
Let it hit the bat and didn't push the ball away.
Right.
Yeah. Counts at 1-1 with nobody out.
And he's bunting again, or attempting to.
Pitch on the way, laid up right in the middle. Tanksley thought about second, but will just go to first for the sure thing out.
Right. Always make sure you get one out in that particular play.
But it is good to see Tanksley eye down second and look if he has an opportunity.
I was going to say, it was heads up. He analyzed the play and thought better of making the short out rather than gamble. And we couldn't afford to gamble in this situation.
So Tyler DePreta-Johnson now will head to the plate for the second time with two men on and one out.
This is where we need that big strikeout.
Big time chance for the Slammers. First pitch to DePreta-Johnson. Good for a called strike.
Right. I'm not going to finish my story because this right situation is too much important. No one wants to hear a story in a crucial situation.
An 0-1.
Strike two.
Good for a called strike two. That's a good one to pick up for O'Reilly.
Right. Now, I'd give him a high fastball. Hopefully, if he goes after it, it could be a pop fly in the infield, or it could be a swing and a miss. I'm going to gamble high pitch.
The 0-2 to the shortstop, Tyler DePreta-Johnson. Inside, ball one.
Yeah.
Quick check in there up in Schaumburg. They're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Washington has expanded their lead to 4-0. And right now, Evansville can be fans of Washington. You root for Schaumburg to have a couple of losses because that ups your difference between second and third.
Right. I don't want to go to Schaumburg.
Certainly want Schaumburg coming here.
Right.
A 1-2 to the shortstop, DePreta-Johnson. He goes after it. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the home plate umpire, Tyler Thurman, and it is a very important German-American bank strikeout.
What a very, very important out.
And just like that, you're 1 out away from getting out of the inning.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how important that is.
Exactly.
Third baseman 8, Matt McGarry.
Well, it is a tough day to be a Gateway Grizzlies fan, as the Florence Yalls scored 11 in the top of the second inning. They're up 12-1 in the second.
11 runs in one inning.
11 runs.
Somebody might have bat 3 times in one inning.
Just about, and it was almost all on home runs.
Oh, really?
They had 3 separate 3-run home runs in the inning.
Was the game at Gateway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
First pitch is a swinging strike 1 to Matt McGarry.
Okay. They might have been all cheap home runs over the right field fence. Whatever. A home run's a home run, whether it's 400 feet or 200 feet.
It's all about the park you're playing in.
That's right.
0-1 to Matt McGarry with 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs. Hefty swinging strike 2. Eyes filled with glory a bit there.
What was that? 95 or 85? What does it say?
83 is what I saw.
83, okay.
It looked a whole lot quicker than that.
Yes, that's what I thought it was in the 90s. That's why I was wondering.
Now, it said 83. We can't always trust that, as our speed gun sometimes has off days.
That's true. Depends on whether they were at the cocktail hour or not.
The 0-2 to McGarry. Zoomed out towards left center, down for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. They're pushing a second one home. The throw will not go to the plates, and it is a 2-run single for Matt McGarry on an 0-2 pitch.
And what was it? It was a hanging curveball. You don't want to throw it. Well, anyway. The minute I saw it coming, I said, uh-oh, here comes trouble. And you hang a curveball up there, especially 0-2. 0-2 pitch is a waste pitch.
So a big RBI there for for this Joliet team. I'm still thinking about Florence, apologies. Is at a place of this game where that could be enough to win a game.
Well, you had said 5 or 6 innings. We're in the 5th, so you called it. Now it's up to the Otters to get 3 runs.
Because it certainly feels like that could be enough to win this ballgame.
Oh, I'd say.
Judging by the game we saw yesterday. First pitch to Matt Feinstein, in there for a called strike 1.
You know, let's go back to that double or that single. McGarry's. He threw 2 fastballs, which we were talking about, I thought was in the 90s. And he missed them completely. Why do you want to throw an off-speed curveball for? If you can't hit a fastball, don't give him a curveball.
Again, they go check on the runner, McGarry, but he's back in time.
I'm going to have to blame the catcher on that bad call, to be honest. Tingsley, he should know better.
0-1 the count for Matt Feinstein. Pitch comes home. Stays a bit too far outside for ball 1.
He's been relying on his fastball all night. He hasn't thrown that many curveballs the whole game.
The 1-1 to Matt Feinstein.
There it is again.
Finds the zone for a called strike. That one started to break towards that outside, but managed to find enough zone.
It had a little bite. It wasn't a real good one, but it still had a little bite to it.
I think it did enough where it made Feinstein think it was going to run out of the zone, and then it just caught it at the end.
Right.
1-2 to Feinstein. Zoomed foul to the right side.
You know, I'm gonna say something. As a former ball player that played hundreds, thousands of baseball games, batted thousands of times. When you got 2 strikes on you and you're the batter, you're up there worrying. I mean, your mind is he going to throw me a fastball? I got to be ready. So the batter is at a disadvantage when there's 2 strikes.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Matt Feinstein with a runner at first and 2 outs. Pitch comes home. It bounces in for ball 2. Good stop from Tanksley. Joliet's already scored 2 runs in the half inning. Off that solid base hit for Matt McGarry.
I mean, that was a good solid hit. It was a hanging curveball.
Two for Matt Feinstein with a runner at first. Zoomed ball down the third base line, but foul.
I'm speaking for myself now, Matthew. But if I was the catcher, Tinsley, I would not be calling for any breaking pitches where he got 2 strikes. They're kind of hanging.
We'll try it again on the 2-2 pitch to Matt Feinstein.
Throw the fastball.
Breaks towards the zone, and with it the count goes to 3-2.
Right. But it was a breaking pitch.
So it all comes down to a payoff pitch with 2 outs and 1 man on.
And 2 runs have scored.
2 very important runs have scored.
Yeah. I mean, this was either pitcher's game there. Let's hope the other pitcher.
3-2 is skied up towards right. Armstrong's chasing back towards it. He's lost it, and it's McNamee who comes in and brings it in for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before 2 runs score on the 2 RBI single for Matt McGarry. We make our way to the bottom half of the 5th. It's Joliet 2, Evansville 0 on the Otters Digital Network. We're ready for the bottom of the 5th inning. Evansville now at a slight disadvantage after the 2-run single there in the last half inning, so they've got some work to do. McNamee, Baez, and Tanksley are the 3 due up in the half inning.
Well, what we need is people on base.
First pitch to Elijah McNamee, taken for a called strike, a high outside quadrant.
He just asked the umpire, was that a strike? Well, I'm going to say it was questionable.
0-1 now for McNamee, and it gets away from the catcher Fullerton. McNamee's first time out, he was guilty of the strikeout swinging, but it came after an impressive at-bat from him where he fouled a lot of pitchers off. Zooms one out towards right field. That's going to be down for extra bases. McNamee goes around first. Finally, they're getting to the ball. He might try for 3. He's going to be happy with 2 and take a stand-up double to kick off this half inning.
I think he could have made third, but he's just as well off being on second as he would be at third.
Left fielder, 33, Jeffrey Baez.
So that'll bring up Jeffrey Baez now with a man on base and nobody out. You know, we have not seen Jeffrey Baez hit a home run in so long. Wouldn't this be a great time in a pivotal game in this season?
To tie the game, but he's got to stride into the pitch instead of hitting off his back foot. The weight is all shifted to his back, meaning he's uppercutting, and they're nothing but pop flies.
There goes McNamee towards third.
Come
the ball
on,
gets
score,
way
score,
away,
score.
and he's rounding towards
Yes.
home. It gets away from the catcher again, and McNamee's going to score.
Yes. Now that's what you call hustling.
He wasn't going to go home, and then he saw the ball get away from the catcher because the catcher looked up at him instead of looked down towards the ball, and he lost it.
Right, and McAfee hesitated like you say. I was just hoping that hesitation wasn't enough to get him thrown out.
So McNamee will get a stolen base, and then he scores on the wild pitch.
Right.
And now Jeffrey Baez has the weight lifted off a little bit. Now all he has to do is get himself on base.
And do the same thing.
The 1-0 to Baez. Whoa, way inside, and it catches him on the elbow guard, and he was in immediate pain. That is why you wear the elbow guard. That one plunked him good.
Well, if you were an Oriole, it never hurts.
Yeah, it looked like right away he shook the arm like it maybe just shocked him.
Right.
And then he popped up, and he's been good to go. Mandy Flagg and Andy McCauley are going to make sure that everything's all right. He's certainly a guy you don't want to suddenly lose from your lineup because you try to play through something that might be better off being careful about. Baez says, I'm all good to go.
Now, if this was, let's say, affiliated baseball and Andy was over there, he's liable to come over to Baez and say, here, take a bite of chew. You know, the tobacco will ease the pain. Everybody, can you imagine how many people used to chew?
The catcher.
And even though they've made it a banned substance on the field, it still gets used quite a bit by a lot of these ball players.
My first year, I had about a 6 or 7 year old kid come up to me and say, Mike, they want to chew and want to bite. He had a. Anyway, I said, oh, yes. And I took one bite. My God, what a mistake I made. I never took another bite.
Nobody out. Runner on first is Jeffrey Baez. Keep an eye on him. Would not be surprised to see him in motion. They go check on him. He's back in time.
But, you know, my brother Jack could have a wad of tobacco in his one jaw and be eating a hot dog and drinking a soda at the same time. Can you believe that? There are people that could do that. They would just divorce themselves of that tobacco.
Another throw over. Baez is back in time. So Cam Ofterhide has certainly done his homework on Jeffrey Baez.
I can't even smoke a cigar. I'd be spitting out too much.
Still no official pitch to Tanksley. Finally, we get one, and it's a called strike. And I think that's what the way Tanksley needs to now approach the plate in this at-bat. Ofterhide's going to want to throw fastballs because it means the ball gets to his catcher sooner, which means he can throw out Baez sooner. You're going to be seeing fastballs, I think, if you're Tanksley.
You know, now you're talking like a baseball man.
There goes Baez. Here comes the throw out. It looks off because it was to the left side, and because of it, Baez has himself a stolen base.
What you just told the fans, I will guarantee if you got 10 baseball fans together, they never knew what you just said. It's fastballs to prevent the runner from getting that extra base. See,
and
you know
he
baseball.
threw the fastball, and it didn't matter.
Well, no, the throw was bad. But he's in scoring position, and we need that run.
So now Tanksley's got an opportunity with a man in scoring position, but back in the count 0-2. Pitch comes home. Tanksley pushes it towards the right side. Keeps himself alive. And as I watch the replay of it, that's a good swing from Tanksley. It stayed close to that low outside corner, and that's what you want out of a guy like Tanksley, who has been consistent these last few games. If it looks close, make some contact to keep yourself alive.
Well, yeah, and plus hit it on the right side to give Baez get over the third base.
Absolutely. Let's try it again on the 0-2 to Tanksley.
Strike three.
Stays low and inside.
Ooh, lucky.
And as I watch it again, it just stayed low. Got just under the knees at the last second. Tanksley saw it. We didn't see it from here, but whatever he saw was obviously the right thing. The 1-2 now to the catcher, Tanksley. Stays low and outside, and the count evens up to 2-2.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I hope it doesn't happen. We mentioned it earlier. Baez has got a big lead at second. He probably could take third, but there's no outs. He's in scoring position. Don't take the chance of stealing third.
If you missed the pregame show, I mentioned it. Great to see Dakota Phillips back there in the dugout as well for Evansville. As Tanksley's fouls one back in the netting, keeps himself alive. I'll continue with that. If you missed the pregame show, Dakota Phillips did get activated off of the 7-day IL, and he's now eligible to play games in these last 2 weeks. He was in the cage earlier today. He says he feels good. He's excited to be back with the team, and most importantly, the team likes having him around.
Right. And he's available if we need the home run.
Let's try it again, Brody. A 2-2 count to Tanksley. Outside and low, and he has worked an 0-2 count where he was meant to just let Baez get to second all the way out to a full count now.
Right.
And I think it's made it harder on this coaching staff to have Tanksley not only fill in for Felix, but to play very well when he's done it.
Yes. And what's wrong with Phil?
Well, he was in concussion protocol. Now I think they might just be giving Tanksley the starts because his bat has been solid. He'll sit down with a swinging strikeout here. Just got fooled on a pitch. But boy, was that a good at-bat for him to work himself back into the count.
Yeah.
It's the 6th strikeout of the day for Ofterhide. But there is still a man at second with Andy Armstrong heading to the plate.
Second baseman 1, Andy Armstrong.
Now, Andy, normally I would say runners on score position, you don't bunt. But in Andy's case, if he could put that down to third, that would open the door for Baez to take it. And at the same time, maybe get the base hit. And hopefully a possible error.
Osterhide's going to step off. He didn't like the leaning from Baez out there at second. And that's helpful for Andy Armstrong. Baez is getting in the head of Ofterhide. So Ofterhide's worried more about him than he is the batter. And that can play a big factor for a hitter. Hits one down the left side. It will end up working its way towards the Joliet bullpen.
And I tell you, they all jumped off that bench down there in the bullpen to retrieve that ball. Boy, what an energetic group.
Probably a bored group. Haven't had much to do tonight. Ofterhide's looked really good.
Yes. Okay, it's a 1 pitch, 1 strike.
The 0-1 count to Andy Armstrong.
Oh.
Close pitch is a called strike, too. Looked a tiny bit high.
Looked high. In my opinion, that was too high.
So Armstrong's going to have to fight from behind.
Yes. Takes away the bunt. The third baseman moved way back.
Baez remains at second with 1 out and an 0-2 count to Andy Armstrong, the second baseman. George Khalil stands in wait there in the on-deck circle. 0-2 home. Pushed foul to the right side. That's a good defensive swing from Armstrong. Makes solid contact.
You know, I might not be managing or coaching or be down on the field anymore, but I sit up here and analyze the mistakes and the goods and the bads of the players. And I've come to the conclusion, I may be wrong, it's just an opinion, but the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes the Otters are making this year, if you notice, Andy Armstrong hits a lot to right field. Big McAvey goes to right field a lot. And the reason, and you got Baez, who is pop flying a lot, even though 200, 300.
There goes Baez towards third. It's weakly grounded to the left side. It's played over to first, just barely in time. There goes the play to the plate, and they get him at home. Baez gets sent home, tries to grab the extra base. He's unable to get there, and just like that, the inning is over. What a defensive effort for Joliet. We go to the sixth. Evansville only down by 1.
First baseman, 23.
Evansville Otters baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Old National Bank, your bank for Evansville, your bank for life. Here in the top of the sixth inning, due up now for Joliet are Briley Ware, Jackson Coots, and Lane Baremore. Wonderful defensive effort there for Joliet to end that fifth inning and slam the door on Evansville.
It was. And I'm going to finish what I was saying when all that action happened. I think the biggest mistake the Otters make is this pitching, having batting practice, and the pitcher is like 30, 40 feet away, and he's lobbing the ball in 40, 50 miles an hour. And then when the game starts, the pitcher is actually 60 feet away, and the ball's coming in at 80, 90 miles an hour. Now, what happens? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the batters are so used to off speed, their timing is bad. And that's why they're hitting everything the right field, because they're picking the ball up late.
It's a 3-pitch strikeout to sit down Briley Ware here to kick off the sixth inning.
Designated hitter, 17, Jackson Coots.
So that'll bring up the designated hitter, Jackson Coots. Coots is 0 for 1 on the day with a fly out to left. Also walked back in the second. First pitch to him stays outside, ball 1.
What did you think of my opinion of home run derby? I think that's the biggest mistake someone ever made.
1-0 grounded to the right side, picked up by Bierman. He'll step on first himself for the second out of the inning.
You know, it's like a home run contest, whether it's the All-Star game or not. You generally get a catcher to throw batting practice because they're pretty good at throws. And what are they throwing? 60, 70 mile an hour fastballs down the middle? But in the game, you don't get 60, 70 mile an hour pitches. That's why in a all-star home run derby, that's why everybody's hitting 10, 20 home runs, because they're lobbing the ball in. You're letting the batter jack up and dip his shoulder and get everything behind it. Then the game starts and the ball's 100 miles an hour and they're swinging and missing.
1-0 for Barrymore, sent towards Davis at third. He'll take his time for the throw over for out number 3. Great work from Ryan O'Reilly to back up the tough inning with a great one here. 3 up, 3 down, and we head to the bottom half of the 6th. Evansville trails by 1 here in this one. Don't go anywhere. Bottom of the 6th is next. Well, we head to the bottom half of the 6th. George Khalil, Miles Gordon, and Brian Rosario due up here in the half inning. Otters with some work to do still.
Oh, yeah, they had the opportunity last inning. I don't know. You and I, we really didn't see the play to know whether Andy sent Baez in or whether he went by himself. But whatever the case was, Baez was out by 10 feet.
It was miraculous that they even got it out in the first place, as the third baseman, McGarry, was dropping back to guard third for Baez. Then I don't want to call it a bunt because it wasn't a bunt. It was the chopping hit. Came his way, so he charged in, barely got the guy at first.
Right.
So, yeah, there is the question mark there, but Otters can't do anything about it now. They have to try again. The bright side is it's only 1 run now.
Right. But at the same token now, Baez was on second base. So he's moving from second base to third base on a play.
Ball gets over the third baseman, McGarry's glove, and Khalil's going to get himself a leadoff.
Base hit. And let's welcome to the press box our former boss, Preston Lineback. Welcome back.
So Evansville now having to continue working from behind, but it's always good to get your leadoff man on. Also, it's George Khalil, who has good legs. He's not a stolen base threat, but you know if Gordon puts this in play, he's a guy that can get himself to third very easily.
Well, let's hope we can. We haven't seen many pass balls or wild pitches, and we could utilize one now. I shouldn't say utilize, use one now.
The Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon, steps in. Gordon's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Golden chance for him to redeem his day.
How many times in the ninth inning has Gordon come in and hit a home run, tied the ball game?
I know he has 2 game-tying solo home runs in the bottom of the ninth.
Right. I know it's not the bottom of the ninth, but I certainly could appreciate that home run. So we've got They call that a strike.
Indeed. Next pitch to Gordon, who's showing bunts again, but it stays high and evens his count.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I would not be stealing because I'm giving up a possible tying run.
Miles Gordon's hit 7 home runs this year. 6 of the 7 against righties, and 6 of the 7 are here at Bosse Field.
Really?
A 1-1. Good bunt laid down. McGarry will pick it up. His throw to first. Is it in time? Just in time to grab Gordon.
It was a beautiful bunt. And you know how much I've complained about bunting. That was a beautiful bunt and executed as well as one should.
The best part about that play was McGarry came in to make the throw. So the shortstop, the pitcher, and the catcher all went to cover third. And because of it, it left second base unoccupied. So the center fielder came running in to cover second then. Everyone was out of position there.
Well,
but it's good to see them covering their bases.
yes, well, it's heads up. They're paying attention. You don't want an unoccupied. I've seen it too many times. An unoccupied a ball player not coming in an unoccupied base, and the runner takes advantage of it.
So after the sacrifice bunt, George Khalil's in a scoring position for Brian Rosario. First pitch to Rosario hit sharply towards Birch at second. He'll throw over to first, and that's out number 2. But on the bright side, the runner moves 90 feet closer.
Okay, well, now we're hoping for a pass ball, a wild pitch, or a base hit.
Zach Bierman heading to the plate. Bierman is grounded into a fielder's choice and flown out to center. His fly out to center was a hard hit ball, but unfortunately it just died on its way out.
390 feet at least.
Probably.
You know, Bierman has hit more 380, 390-foot home runs that are nothing but outs in Bosse Field.
Sure feels that way.
But if it was in Gateway, they'd be home runs.
He zooms one to the right side, but well foul.
If Bierman was playing in Gateway, I bet he'd have 30-some-odd home runs by now.
Yeah, he might be atop the league leaders.
Yeah, it might be an all-time high home run hitter.
By the way, Washington is still up 4-1 at Schaumburg in the bottom of the 5th. Boomers did grab themselves 1 run.
I played in 1952 down in Kingsport, Tennessee. The fence was maybe 260, 270 in right field. The manager, Muscle Scholes, was a left-hand hitter. He hit maybe 50 home runs that year. They were nothing but cheap home runs, 250 feet home runs. But he utilized his advantage.
1-1's left alone for ball 2.
Yeah, 50 home runs.
And I have been keeping tabs on Zach Bierman and the potential for him to work towards the Otters single-season record. He still has some work to do. He's got 17 home runs now. The Otters single-season record is 23.
Right.
But he is going to remain in the history books as a top 5 home run hitter in single-season history here in Evansville. Outside pitch will take the count to 3-1.
George, be ready to go if that ball gets by. He's got his eyes focused on that catcher.
This is one of the shallowest home plate to backstop areas in the entire league. So ball 4 is going to send Bierman to first. And with it, there's runners at the corners for the Otters' very best RBI hitter. And that's
Right.
J.R. Davis.
And this would be a great time to exercise a delayed steal. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. And that is, Bierman's on first. He just trots to second, so the catcher automatically goes to second. And with that, George is running on the play. It's a gamble, but it's worth taking right now.
Big chance now for J.R. Davis to
Big
give the
RBI
Otters
man.
a
We
tie
had this
game.
situation last night, and we were talking about his RBI lead. And with that, if you recall, he hit a shot down the third base that drove in 2 runs. It'd be great if he could do that tonight.
Runners on the corners with 2 outs for J.R. Davis.
It wouldn't be 2 runs, but it'd be 1 to tie the game.
The 0-1 pitch to J.R. Davis. Zoomed out towards right, down for a base hit. This game is tied.
Okay.
Well, that's what you expect out of him. That is J.R. Davis's 50th RBI of the season.
And what about his family? We are talking about his family.
And I saw the whole line of them with their phones out recording, so they all were here. They got to see it.
Too bad we can't get them to look up and see us.
Bierman's going to advance to second on it. Khalil obviously scores from third. And with it, our game ties at 2 runs apiece now.
You know, you called it earlier. It was going to be a heck of a pitcher's duel. Here we are, what, in the 6th inning?
Yeah. Now Elijah McNamee at the plate. His first pitch, and he fouls it off to the right side. McNamee had the literal definition of a manufactured run in that last half inning. Doubled himself, of course, out to second. Stole third, and then used the wild pitch to get himself home. He made Jeffrey Baez's life pretty simple.
Okay. Big Mac. Come through, Mac. We need that run.
2 outs. Runners at first and second for Evansville. An 0-1 pitch to McNamee. Pushed out towards right, but it's going to work foul, and Ware can't get there in time. Good effort there from Briley Ware.
What he just did proves my point of what hitting to right field all the time, because you pick the ball up late. You're actually swinging at the ball, actually after it's in the middle of the plate or behind the plate. That home run derby's crap is crap.
Otters do have a man warming in the pen. Looks like Augie Gallardo right now.
How about our boy that did so well last night?
0-2 the count for Elijah McNamee.
Come on.
With 2 on and 2 outs. Pitch comes home. Since softly towards the left side, will stay foul, and McNamee will live to see another pitch. Big chance for Evansville to take their first lead in this ball game.
And that ball went down by the bullpen, and they are such a hustling group. The ball died, and one guy got up and finally retrieved it. Can you imagine the hustle that team's got? I bet they sleep late in the morning.
Let's try it again. An 0-2 pitch to Elijah McNamee. Off the handle of the bat, that's a good defensive swing.
Yeah.
Worked in high at him. Tomorrow night, final Thirsty Thursday of the season here at Bosse Field. First pitch is 6:35. It's the final game of the year between Joliet and Evansville. You can catch it live in person, but if you can't join us here on the Otters Digital Network or Flow Sports, and Bill and I will have every pitch for you.
Joliet, isn't that where Al Capone had his bank, his safe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
McNamee lifts one high and foul to the right side. Briley Ware works over towards it, but it's going to get on top of the roof.
Big Red tells me that overhead foul ball is brought to you by Ed's Construction. Choose the best.
We saw McNamee do this earlier, too. He ended up striking out, but he got himself in a bind in an at-bat like this, but just kept working and working, looking for his pitch. Maybe this is the at-bat where he finds it.
But did he not let the fastball go right down the middle for a cold strike?
That might have been his second strike.
Okay.
He struck out swinging.
Okay. I'm getting mixed up.
0-2 count for Elijah McNamee. Let's try it again.
Oh, there
Finds
it
the
is.
zone. The breaking pitch works in there. And the Otters will only be able to tie this one. We head to the 7th inning, tied at 2 runs apiece. As we head to the top of the seventh inning, I look through the line score there. Joliet scored 2 in the fifth, and now Evansville scored 1 in each of the fifth and sixth to tie this ball game at 2 runs apiece. Ryan O'Reilly returns to the mound, and on the first pitch, a ball is fouled off towards the left side. Will end up in the bullpen for Joliet.
Yeah, they got 2. We got 1 and 1. As you said last night, your Little League coach says if you get 1 run every inning, 9 runs, you win. So let's hope that next inning we pick up a run. That'd be the 7th, and then 1 in the 8th, and it'll be 4-2.
0-1 for Matt Birch. Zooms one towards Davis, and it goes off the heel of his glove out towards left. Baez will charge into it. Working towards second is Birch, and for the second time today, Birch has reached on an error.
Although
that one might be a base hit.
I'm going to say base hit.
Base hit it is for Matt Birch.
I would have given him a base hit, I'll tell you that.
So the sharp hit ball gets Birch on to start this, and Max Peterson's going to go have a talk with his starter.
As we would call it years ago, too hot to handle.
They don't call it the hot corner for nothing.
That's exactly right. Now, are you going to take? Yes, it is.
Indeed, that will be the day for Ryan O'Reilly. We'll take the break with him, let you know who's coming in for Evansville after this one. We're tied at 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. So we're here in the top of the 7th inning, and a leadoff double for Matt Birch has caused the hand of Max Peterson to switch up his pitching situation. Jacob Bowles will get the nod out of the bullpen. It's his 32nd appearance on the year, an ERA that sits just over 3.5, and it'll be Bowles' job to try to see out this 7th inning for the Otters. It's called to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. On the mound, Jacob Bowles. Behind the plate, Brody Tanksey. That pitcher catcher battery sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000.
Okay, you're Joliet manager, Matthew. There's no outs. You going to butt him at third base?
Not in this situation. Carson Maxwell has been very good tonight. 2 solid base hits. Let him swing.
All right.
But I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times this year. First pitch to Carson Maxwell. He's not showing bunt. He's swinging away, and it's a swinging strike 1.
He had his mind made up he was going to swing because that pitch was way out of the strike zone, and he gave it a hefty swing. In other words, he made up his mind he was going to swing, thinking it was a fastball down the middle.
So with nobody out but a man on second, the 0-1 pitch to Carson Maxwell. And they're going to reset. Bulls stepped off as his second baseman Armstrong was running towards the baseman at second.
Yeah, George is playing way over there to third, and it's up to Armstrong keeping close to second base. You're right. But it leaves a big gap.
0-1 pitch is swung on and missed again from Maxwell. He's back 0-2 in the count.
Leaves a big gap between first and second. And that pitch was low and outside. If he did make contact, it was going to go to right field.
That's 2 back-to-back impressive breaking pitches from Jacob
Yes.
Bowles. He's had him fooled in back-to-back.
Now, I noticed he had a terrific slider that had great bite, but now I don't know where he's going to throw it, low and outside.
0-2 to Maxwell.
Was exactly where I would want it, but he didn't go for it.
And that was rather close to the zone. It actually only ended up a tiny bit low.
Yeah.
Almost could have been a called strike.
Yeah.
But we'll try it again on the 1 and 2.
Well, he had gone the pitch before. He had gone after that pitch. Throw him inside. Keep him off balance. He'll be leaning. Oh,
1-2 works outside and evens our count up.
that was the breaking pitch there. I guess that was his curveball.
Two-two, the count to Carson Maxwell with a man at second and nobody out here in the top of the 7th inning. Big opportunity for Joliet. Swinging strike 3, and Jacob Bowles enters this one and starts it off with a German American Bank strikeout.
That was a big strikeout, a big out we needed. Of course, we need 2 more to keep that runner on second. But
Catcher 14, J.P. Fullerton.
Did want to give an update there from Schaumburg. The Boomers storm back with 4 runs of their own to tie it at 4-4, and just like that, Washington grabs one right back, and they lead 5-4.
oh boy, that Washington.
Washington has made the most of a couple of errors, and 3 of their 5 runs have come unearned, and that's been the story over there so far. Where does that sound like?
Yep. Take advantage.
Counts at 0-1 now for the catcher, J.P. Fullerton. Runner at second and 1 out. Bowles kicks and delivers. Called strike 2. And you know, we saw Bowles come in that game against Washington and struggle a little bit. To come out like this, grab a strikeout to start and get that mentality back that, you know, you're the right man for the job, and right away you get that. The confidence has got to be high for him.
Well, he struck the batter out. Now he's got 2 strikes on this guy, so he's doing right now. He's doing a great. Oh, wow. We were lucky on that one. Did you see that slip out of his hand?
Yeah, just got away from the pitcher Bowles there, and the count will go to 1-2. So,
but give Tanksley a lot of credit for getting that pitch.
yeah, he certainly leapt out of his stance well and got to it.
Well, that's where you show agility. Can you move? A catcher, can he move quickly?
The 1-2 to J.P. Fullerton now. Zoom to the right side, foul. And, you know, that was actually one of those that you wonder, had that got past Tanksley, he had already leapt up. The way that this backstop plays here, because it's not very deep from home plate to the backstop, that could have got a good bounce off the netting and caught a guy halfway between. You never know what could happen.
You'll never know. Let's hope it doesn't ever happen.
Yeah, luckily we don't have to worry about that what if here. 1 ball, 2 strikes to J.P. Fullerton. Bowles fires home, and it's just barely fouled away to keep the count at 1-2.
Generally, that padding behind home plate is padded, and it generally hits there and dies. It don't ricochet back.
Yeah, compared to a lot of the teams in this league, this is one of the smallest home plate to backstop distances in the entire league, especially in this Western Division.
Really?
A lot of places have 70-ish feet between home and the backstop. So.
Well, Evansville was that way when I played here. In fact,
1-2 looked really good.
I thought when I played here, when the ball got by me, I used to call a cab. It was so far back. But the fences were a little further back, too. We played the brick wall. We didn't have those portable fences. There weren't that many home runs hit, by the way.
Counts at 2-2 for J.P. Fullerton. 1 out and a man at second. Big time pitch from Bowles. Called strike three. Got him that time. Back-to-back German-American Bank strikeouts now have Jacob Bowles and the Otters that close to getting themselves out of this inning. And boy, would that be a win.
Oh, I tell you, I would mark it up actually as a win, even though if they were to lose this situation, if they get out of it without scoring, I'd put that as a moral victory.
And it looks like someone in the Joliet dugout has actually been tossed from the game.
The batter?
No, it was just someone that was sitting in a warm-up jacket down the line was making comments about the strike zone, and he got tossed. So he just went storming down the tunnel towards the clubhouse.
That's what, $25 or something? It used to be 20, and I heard it was raised.
So that'll bring up Tyler DePreta Johnson with 2 outs, and he'll start off with a called strike. Yeah, we can't even put down a number for who that was because he was wearing one of the warm-up jackets. No intent to even play. Could have been potentially like a starting pitcher that had an off day or something.
Right. Well, our man in the dugout will send us the message.
0-1. Called strike 2 on DePreta Johnson. This is the outing Jacob Bowles needed. He has confidence flowing through him now.
I'll say, if he gets out of it, he needs a gold star.
There's nothing more dangerous than a reliever who's really in the zone. 0-2 count, 2 outs, a chance for the Otters to get out of this really tough situation in the 7th.
I am rooting for Mr. Bowles. All we need is a bad pitch and for the guy to go swinging for it.
The former USI man trying to get the Otters out of this inning. An 0-2 home. Pushed out towards right. McNamee will run over towards it, bring it in for out number 3. And a leadoff double will not come back to haunt the Otters. We head to the bottom half of the 7th, still tied at 2. We head to the bottom half of the 7th inning here, and a pitching change will take place for Joliet. Jared Liebelt will get the nod out of the bullpen. 6-foot righty out of Aurora, Illinois, looking to keep this game even. A big chance for Evansville to maybe try to attack a brand new reliever into this game. Grab yourself what could be a game-winning run as we're tied at 2 runs apiece right now. 18th appearance on the season for Liebelt. His ERA right at 6.0. This call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Liebelt on the mound. Fullerton behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery. Sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East. Located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000.
Well, if I was a betting man, Matthew, I would bet the ranch that the first pitch that this man is going to throw is going to be a fastball. So I'm betting the entire ranch on Mr. Baez getting a fastball.
Well, the three,
if that's the case, I am set for a fastball, not a curveball.
well, the three that are going to come to the plate for sure are Jeffrey Baez, Brody Tanksley, and Andy Armstrong. Baez ready for his first offering of this at-bat. Pitch comes home, and it misses to the outside for ball one.
What was it, 89?
Yeah.
89 miles an hour.
Close enough. We'll call it a fastball.
Well, yeah.
You can keep the ranch.
Okay. I can keep the ranch.
Yeah, we won't take it this time. 1-0 to Jeffrey Baez. That one's a little closer inside with it. The count evens at 1-1 after the called strike.
And was that 97 or 87?
87.
87. So 89, 87. He hasn't hit 90 yet, huh?
A 1-1 home. Baez out in front of that one. The off-speed catches Baez, and he falls back in the count 1-2.
79? Is that what that was? So he's in the hole.
Augie Gallardo now continuing to warm up for Evansville out there in right field. Let's try it on a 1-2 for Jeffrey Baez. Swinging strike three. That one ran away from him. And it's the first strikeout of the day for Baez, the first one of the day for Jared Liebelt.
Catcher 46, Brody Tanksley.
So that'll bring up.
I'll guarantee you, Baez never even seen that pitch. That was so far out, and he just took a swing like he was going to hit a fly. There was no aggressiveness in there.
That'll bring up Brody Tanksley.
Now, he hasn't got a home run yet, and he's only got 2 RBIs. And how many games has he played now?
First pitch is a called strike. It's actually 3 RBIs. Those only get updated every couple of days. He grabbed one last night, but I believe he's at either 12 or 14 games now. Tanksley's at 13 games played now for Evansville.
Well, he's behind them right on a high fastball he went chasing. So this guy, he's throwing that ball 87 miles an hour, but it's been effective.
The 0-2 to Brody Tanksley. Look out for the off speed here. Works way low and away for ball one.
That's the same pitch that Baez chased.
And why not throw it there? You never know if you're going to get a guy to chase out there.
Exactly. When you got 2 strikes, you're just efficient.
1-2 to the backstop, Brody Tanksley. Oh, man, the movement on that pitch. It almost came in and grabbed that back door.
Yeah.
But instead it evens our count at 2-2. Tanksley living to see another pitch. This one, a 2-2. On its way. Swinging strike. Was late to that one, and because of it, it's back-to-back strikeouts for Jared Liebelt.
And that was a lazy swing. I guess when you're fooled, you just, whatever. Anyway, it's up to Andy.
Second baseman, Andy Armstrong.
The 8-hole hitter, Andy Armstrong, heading to the plate now. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fielder's choice.
The third baseman's playing him in close.
First pitch to Armstrong. Swinging strike one in the high inside area.
See, now, if you were a pull hitter and you could get those bunts down, and yet you were a pull hitter bringing that third baseman in, you gave yourself a more of an opportunity to get base hits. But Andy goes to right field all the time.
The 0-1 now. Push to the right side, foul, will end up in the seating area.
So this guy's come in, and he's been ahead of every one of our batters, all 3. He's got 2 strikes on him, and he's been sitting in the driver's seat.
Swinging strike 3. And Liebelt comes into the game, strikes out the side. We head to the 8th inning, and we are still even at 2 runs apiece here on the Otters Digital Network. Evansville Otters baseball on the Otters Digital Network is presented by Bud Light. Our thanks to Bud Light for being a great sponsor of the Evansville Otters. To the mound we go, where a new pitcher takes hold up there to carry on this one. Augie Gallardo gets the nod for the Otters. It's called the bullpen, presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Gallardo on the mound, Tanksy behind the plate. Pitcher Catcher Battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East.
I'm going to ask a dumb question, if one considers it dumb. Why would you take the pitcher out that was there and just struck the side out? I mean, wasn't he effective?
It's one I can't answer for you.
Yeah. We don't know what this guy's done, but the pitcher before struck the side out.
First pitch to Matt McGarry. He skies one out towards the right side. Bierman will go over and get underneath it for out number 1.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to finish that story I told about being at Dodger Stadium. We went to eat, and in Hollywood, we went to this fabulous restaurant. We got driven to the place by his wife in their Mercedes, and we walked into this fabulous restaurant. You can't believe it. I mean, here you got movie stars and all this. There was sawdust on the floor. I said to myself, what kind of place am I going to? And we got a table, and later, Dennis spots somebody, and he invites them over to our table. So it was Dick Hager, I, and this new guy, and Dennis and his wife. So Dennis introduces us to the guy he just brought over. And he said, yeah, these 2 guys work for the Padres. That's the team I tried to get you to buy. And he said, how come you didn't buy that club? And he said, oh, I bought that hotel in Vegas. We said, oh, my God, here we're sitting with money. So Dennis says, let me order for you. What do you think he ordered? We all ate a chicken wing and a thigh. I could not believe that we were in a fabulous Hollywood restaurant eating a chicken thigh. Anyway, I was grateful. I got a chance to eat in Hollywood.
Gallardo gets a couple of quick strikes, but then his slider proves him a little wrong there. Ends up in the dirt, and his count's evened up.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dennis is one of the part owners of the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers.
Wonderful pitch there from Gallardo. Just stays inside.
Yeah.
He's going to have to try again on the full count now. Great pitch. Base is empty, 1 out, and a 3-2 payoff pitch to Matt Feinstein. Hit hard towards Davis. He'll take a second before his throw over to first, which gets away from Bierman. All the way over there now is Tanksley picking it up, and working towards third is Feinstein. The throw across the diamond is close, but it will be a 2-base error from J.R. Davis. Feinstein gets all the way to third on the error from Davis there.
So that means there's 1 out. Runner on third.
And one of the league's most consistent hitters stepping up to the plate now, Briley Ware.
Yeah.
But Briley Ware has not found success this series. He got a single last night, but it came so late in the game it didn't end up mattering. In fact, it was a rare base hit off of Logan Sawyer, but he only has 1 base hit in the entire series so far. He's been a bit cold. Meanwhile, if you go back and watch the games that Evansville played at Joliet, he only got out once in the first 2 full games. He had base hits in like 9 of his first 10 at-bats. So,
jeez. Well, there we are playing the infield in again. And I think we lost a run the other night because we had the infield in.
0-1 to Ware. Hits one off the edge of the bat, goes to Khalil. They'll go home. They've got the runner in a rundown. The throw to third looks good. Did they get him? Yes, they did.
What a break for the Otters. What a break. 2 outs, and you eliminated the runner who was on base.
A 6-2-5 fielder's choice lets Ware reach, but Feinstein is out on his way home. You know, you live by the risk, you die by the risk, and that time it saved you.
Well, I tell you what, if I was the runner on third, I wouldn't have attempted to come home.
And he waited a long time to turn around and go back to third.
Exactly.
I mean, he didn't commit either way.
Right.
First pitch to Coots. Just misses outside for ball 1. It kind of felt like he was banking on a bad throw. He was counting on either Khalil or Tanksley to make a poor throw to get safe somewhere.
Right. Well, you know, earlier I said baseball players are intelligent players. When you don't use that intelligence, it shows.
Well, this is the level of ball players where there are mental lapses that happen, and it's very possible with everything going on in that moment. I'm the game-winning run potentially. He missed it for a half second, and that's enough sometimes.
That's all it takes. You're right.
And the Otters used a mental mistake from this Joliet team and took hold of it like they've done all series. A foul ball from Coots takes the count to 1-2.
But you're right. All it takes is a second to have second thoughts, and it might be just too late.
And we saw it last night. Evansville won the game because they took advantage of the mental mistakes from Joliet, and this is potentially a game-deciding one.
Yeah.
Gallardo ready on the 1-2 to Jackson Coots. Ball didn't get its good break, so with it the count evens up.
Now is the all-time saver down there in the bullpen warming, just tossing?
Not right now, but I imagine as soon as we hit the beginning of the bottom of the 8th, that's usually when he starts.
Okay.
He's told me on a couple occasions he can be warmed up and ready to go in with 8 warm-up pitches. He says,
I can believe it.
He says, as long as I get 8, I can be, or I think it's 7 or 8, I'm good to go.
I can believe it. In 1956, we had a reliever, Roger, I don't remember his last name, Clapp, I'm going to say, but I'm not sure. I tell you what, he'd throw 1 or 2 and say, I'm ready. I'd say, you haven't even thrown.
He's had a couple this year where he's had 3 or 4, and he's been ready to come in, and he's done very good.
If you've got that mentality.
3-2. It's grounded towards Khalil at short. He'll pick it up. The throw to first is in time, and the inning ends.
Wow.
Wonderful work from Evansville's both pitching and defense there to get out of the jam. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Still tied at 2 runs apiece. Bottom of the 8th inning, Evansville. Now all they have to do here, find yourself a run, ask Logan Sawyer to come in and finish this thing off, and you might have yourself a win.
You know, that sounds reasonable.
Get everybody home by 9:30. How about
Right.
that?
You know, I got home before 10 last night, thank God. But you're right. Now that you brought it up, I may not be here tomorrow. I've got a doctor's appointment at the hospital at 9:45. They're going to do a stress test on my heart because the things aren't working well, and I don't know how I'm going to be.
Keep yourself in mind first.
Yeah.
We'll be able to man things here if you're not able to make it.
Okay. I'll call you and let you know I'm coming or I'm not coming. But I don't know how I'm going to feel after that stress test.
George Khalil, Miles Gordon, and Brian Rosario are the 3 due up for Evansville.
Yeah.
1 run could be enough to get it done. The first pitch home to George Khalil.
Strike.
Taken for a called strike 1.
I would say the last 2 batters, or not the last 2 batters, 2 of the batters in the last inning swung at his slider, which is pretty good, but it was way outside the strike zone. So
Just
if
like
I
that, the
was an
count's at
Otter
0-2.
and I was paying attention, I'd say, I'm going to stay away from that slider. Let me jump on the fastball. So I'd be looking for fastballs and swinging at fastballs and leave that slider alone.
Well, look for the slider here. An 0-2 count to Khalil. Wouldn't be surprised if we see it.
Right.
An 0-2 to the shortstop, George Khalil.
There
There it is right there. Yeah.
You called it. Now, the 2 of our batters chased it the last inning. George, thank God, maybe because it was too far out.
Then the question is, does he go right back to it, or does he try to come back and
Yes.
attack the inside?
Yes. No, stay with the slider again.
Now the 1-2 to George Khalil. Again, it's a slider, and that time Khalil's able to hold up. They check down, and they say no, he did not.
Yeah, it wasn't as sharp. And Brian, no, thank God George held up on it.
2 balls, 2 strikes to George Khalil.
The crocodile man.
Pushes one off towards Birch at second. He plays it into the glove and over to first for out number 1.
Did you see where he was jammed on that one? Inside, he was lucky he got around it. You know, I was reading somewhere on the internet, some guy had his head stuck in an alligator's mouth and survived. How the heck is that possible?
We head to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Boy, would this be a great chance to get yourself on base for the first time.
Yes. Or hit that home run.
Boy, that'd be nice too.
Wouldn't it be? In fact, I might able to go out of the press box and down to greet him at home plate if he did.
First offering to him is a called strike on the low inside. This is also the first lefty now that we've had to see Jared Leibelt face. Everybody else has been righties so far.
Yeah.
So I wonder how the approach changes for him. The 0-1 home. Zoom to the right side, down the right field line for an extra base hit. There goes Gordon around first. There goes Gordon around second. They're still pushing him around. And he's got himself a stand-up, one-out triple here in the 8th.
With 1 out. Way to go. I tell you what, you know how to call him, buddy.
Well, I said a base hit. You said a home run. He split the difference.
Right.
Got 3 bases there.
But you know what I noticed? He put the afterburners on when he was there halfway to second base. He was looking over, and he put the afterburner on, and Andy just kept saying, come on, buddy, come on, come on.
That is his 5th triple of the year. That's tied for the team high, and it is going to pull Jared Leibelt out of the game. We'll let you know who's coming in for him right after this. Evansville with a chance to get themselves a lead here in the 8th. Tanner Keese gets the nod out of the bullpen. Keese
I tell you, those Otters are all looking down at the dugout. Look at them. I don't know what does that mean?
They're getting energy in that bullpen or that dugout right now, and that's exactly what Evansville needs. You've got a new pitcher in this game. Keese is a solid arm on the bump for Joliet, and this is a huge situation for him. The 6'3" righty has one job, and that's 2 outs. Keep Gordon from coming home. On this season, Keist has found himself into a 3.70 ERA in over 35 appearances, 66 strikeouts in 41 innings.
He's been exceptional. That right now. And yet, you know, so many times these relievers come in and they throw that first or second pitch so hard, it's wild. This would be a great opportunity for the Otters.
I think you're going to see one of 2 things. Maybe you see him try to zoom one home too quick and it's a wild pitch, or Brian Rosario might have a fastball served on a silver platter with his first pitch.
Well,
only time will tell at this point.
I'll tell you what, the way Rosali, he's bad at playing. I wouldn't want a better person to be at the plate.
This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Tanner Keast on the mound. JP Fullerton behind the plate. The pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road.
Rosali now is batting lefty. Now, last time up, he hit a shot to second base. And they're playing in. Now, for a batter to get a hard grounder, his chances of getting through the infield is much better than with the infield playing back.
This worked for the Otters in the last half inning. See what it does for Joliet.
Yeah.
1 out, runner on third, which could be the go-ahead, or is the go-ahead, could be game-winning run. Rosario at the plate. First pitch he sees, he zooms foul into the netting to the left side.
And that was a little low, and he uppercutted it. I don't know, I'd let it go. Well, of course, an uppercut would be trying to drive the ball to the outfield for, an hour sacrifice.
Gordon's got the speed. It doesn't need to be too deep.
Right. And they're actually, when you look at it,
playing in quite a bit.
Yes,
out there in the outfield.
I was going to say that
My
outfield
goodness.
is playing a little in, maybe 10, 15 feet normal.
0-1 for Rosario, stays inside for ball 1 and his count evens.
Yeah, if it's a ground ball, it gets through the infield. I don't care if the outfielders are playing deep shortstop. But if it's a pop fly, your chances of throwing the runner out is get better.
1-1 counts for Brian Rosario. Pushes one foul to the left side. And he falls back in the count 1-2. Logan Sawyer looks ready to go any point now there in the right field bullpen for Evansville. Brian Rosario trying to give the Otters their first lead of the night. A 1-2 pitch to the DH Rosario. Swinging strike 3. Huge strikeout to grab for Tanner Keast.
And that was not a normal swing on Rosario's part. He kind of just chopped at it. And I think, again, you got to be relaxed.
So now Zach Bierman with 2 outs and a runner at third will try to give the Otters a lead.
I would have bet the ranch that Rosario would have somehow hit the ball. I wouldn't have counted on him striking out.
So it's
But
another
again,
lefty here.
You've heard me say, any batter who's got 2 strikes on, the pitcher's got the advantage.
First pitch to Bierman. Well high and outside. A good stop for Fullerton.
The Otters couldn't ask for a better chance to go ahead. Runner on third, 1 out.
Perfect chance to grab yourself a win and a series win. The 1-0 to Bierman. Stays low, and it's a 2-0 count. If Bierman finds his way on, J.R. Davis stands on deck right now. He's already picked up a clutch RBI in this game.
Well, he tied the game
Yeah.
with that RBI.
And it came right after a scenario just like this. Runner on third, Bierman walked, and that's what set it up.
Yeah.
2-0 the count to Zach Bierman now. Keast fires home, and it's fouled back into the netting. That one off the end of the bat.
I'm just looking at that hole and shortstop. Look where the shortstop is playing. I mean, you could drive 2 semis into that hole.
You can parallel park them too.
And parallel parking.
A 2-1 for Zach Bierman. That one's fouled in and out of the glove behind home, and his count evens at 2-2.
And in both occasions, that shortstop, on both swings by Bierman, that shortstop has ran over toward third, anticipating that's where that ball's going to be.
The 2-2 pitch to Zach Bierman. Swinging strike 3, and it is a huge strikeout for Joliet. With it, we go to the 9th inning, still tied at 2. Top of the 9th inning, Evansville with a perfect chance to give themselves the win, but instead they're going to have to try once more. We head to the 9th inning. Augie Gallardo remains in the game for Evansville. He will face Lane Baremore, Matt Birch, and Carson Maxwell.
Where are you going to have a better opportunity? The man is on third base.
With 1 out.
With
That's the
one
real
out.
killer.
All you got to do is put the ball in play. Let them make the error.
But a couple of tough strikeouts for Evansville take
Yeah.
that opportunity away, so they're going to have to ask Augie Gallardo to lock things up and try again in the 9th.
And like I mentioned in between innings, if I was a betting man, I would have bet the ranch that Rosario or Bierman would have made contact. Not strike out, but make contact. But again, you don't always get what you hope for.
Lane Baremore has a strikeout and 2 groundouts on the day. Both groundouts hit towards the left side of the infield. His first pitch here is a called strike 1 on the outside half. 0-1.
Strike two.
Finds the zone yet again.
Now, again, you've heard me say it all year, and I'll repeat myself now. Do not throw a strike. Throw a pitch that is bait for a swing.
0-2 is fouled back into the netting. Will end up down in the dugout of the Otters.
Yeah. The best pitch on an 0-2 is either a low outside pitch to get them a swing at it, which some of our batters love to swing at, or throw it up around their neck.
0-2.
Now
Low and outside, got him to think about it.
That's the pitch that is a good pitch. It was low, it was outside. He just didn't go for it.
He thought about it,
Yes.
but he didn't.
Well, you're not going to get everyone to go for it.
No.
But if you get the
But
right
you saw the gears turning. He was thinking about
right.
1-2 for Barrymore.
There
Went
you
after
go.
that one, and it's a swinging strike
Right.
3.
Right.
German American Bank strikeout. Kicks off the half inning for Augie Gallardo.
That's a German American Bank.
That brings up Matt Birch, who grounded into a double play that
Second base
George
number
Khalil
18,
made one of the greatest plays we've seen in some time from him, which is saying a lot. And other than that, he reached on an error and doubled. That error he reached on in the 5th is really what led them to their 2 runs. That error doesn't happen. It's very possible that the Otters are winning this game.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm rooting for the Otters,
Ball put down the left field line, but foul.
but I'm rooting for some of the players because they've put their heart in. Some of the plays that we've witnessed tonight are major league.
I mean, on both sides, too. We saw Ware make a great play at first base, too.
Oh, yes. But I'm thinking of the Otters winning, and it would be a tribute to the defense.
0-1 to Birch.
Strike.
Stays low for ball 1.
I mean, you had Armstrong come up with plays. George has come up with plays. JR come up with a big play.
And, I mean, every pitcher so far for Evansville has worked out of some tough jams.
Yes, they have, yes.
1-1 for Birch. Pushed foul again to the left side. It's the same way as, we were talking earlier. Last night was a complete effort, and right now we've seen everything except that one last punch of offense from Evansville. They had their chance to do in that last half inning.
Right.
That's the one piece missing from this one. The
Yeah.
Otters are 0-15 when they score 2 runs or less this year.
Really?
So it's all about finding 3, 4, 5 runs to give themselves wins.
No kidding.
0-15 when scoring 2 or less.
Wow.
Ball off the handle will be fouled away and keep them alive.
Now, I want you to notice the last 2 pitches, this batter here has fouled off the ball to the left field. What is that telling you?
Means he's late.
He can't catch up with the fastball. Don't give him nothing else. Give him fastballs. He can't catch up to it.
A 1-2 for Matt Birch.
And you turn around, you give a
Great
curveball.
pitch. Just barely misses on the outside edge. But it will even the count at 2-2. Just barely missed out there, so we try on the 2-2. It's put out towards left. Baez will chase in and be there in time for out number 2. So that will bring up Carson Maxwell, who has been the most consistent man for Joliet, at least in this game. Started off the day with 2 hits, struck out in the 7th, but it was a close strike. Augie Gallardo already ready to go up on the bump, just waiting for Maxwell to step in.
Yeah, this young man, Maxwell's from Houston, Texas, I see. It used to be a comment about Houston, Texas. It's not warm down there because you leave your air-conditioned house to get in your air-conditioned car to go to your air-conditioned job. So it's not hot down there.
The 1-0 to Maxwell. That one stays too far inside for ball 2.
Last time I was in Houston was the All-Star game in 2004, which the American League won.
Back when it meant something.
Yeah.
2 balls, no strike to Carson Maxwell. Just misses on the outside edge. Yeah, the MLB made an exciting announcement today. They released all of the schedules for next year. And for this first time since interdivisional play started, you play every team in the major league at least one series next year.
Well, it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
but it hasn't ever been that way. So finally you get to see everybody else for the first time. That's exciting. 3-0 to Maxwell. Misses inside. 2 of those 4 pitches were very close, but Gallardo just didn't get it to go his way. And it's a 2-out walk for Carson Maxwell.
Well, you know, it's like the same token about the designated hitter. If both leagues aren't using it, it should not be allowed. That changes. I'm against the designated hitter, or the what do you call it? Not the pitch hitter, but the hitter anyway. It changes the style of the manager.
First pitch to Fullerton.
Strike.
Called strike on the outside.
Yeah.
And that was further outside than a couple of those last pitches, which is a bit surprising.
We got somebody warming up, and they're both putting down there, lefty. Looks like he's throwing pretty good.
Indeed. It does look like Tyler J., the lefty out of Lamont, Illinois. 0-1 to Fullerton.
Strike 2. Ooh.
Misses for ball 1.
This guy must be squeezing that home plate.
It ended up crossing the plate quite low, so that must have been why.
Okay. Again, not where the catcher catches it, but where it crosses the plate.
1-1 to Fullerton. There goes the runner towards second. It's a swinging strike 2, and the throw gets out towards center, but Gordon was already running in, so it won't hurt the Otters at all. So stolen base there. Just like that, Joliet's got a potential game-winning run in scoring position. Gallardo just needs to find one more strike now, as it was a swinging strike. That is a gutsy play there to go for the stolen base.
Yeah. Well, you know, as a former catcher, you've got to be ready as a catcher. Now, you've got to be ready on every pitch, whether it's a curveball, fastball. You don't know what the other man on the field is thinking.
A 1-2 to J.P. Fullerton. Off the handle of the bat and back into the netting.
I think I mentioned before that in playing an exhibition game against the Milwaukee Brewers, I was on my toes with Johnny Logan and Eddie Matthews and Billy Bruton and them. And here comes a 6'8", 200 or 400-pound catcher, Ebba St. Clair, and lo and behold, if I don't throw it in center field.
1-2 swung on and missed, and Gallardo gets out of it. Here we go. Bottom of the ninth, Evansville just needs 1 to win it. Don't go anywhere. Otters try to win it next. Bottom of the ninth inning. Evansville going to try to win it here. Davis, McNamee, and Baez due up. Those are some solid bats for Evansville. First step, get a guy on base, then work him around.
The first batter gets on, we better be bunting him the second and get him in scoring position. You have two opportunities then to bring him home. But the bunt's got to be there to move him over as well.
So J.R. Davis at the plate, ready to go.
His family's here. He's playing well tonight. It'd be great if he, if he got a double or.
First pitch home. It works way in and actually hits Davis.
Well, we couldn't ask for anything better.
Got him on the left shoulder.
That's all right.
I think it just surprised him more than anything. He seems to be just fine. It just surprised him getting in that high.
He got it off the shoulder, as my old prep school coach used to say, roll like a donut and it don't hurt.
Well, and he rolled it off and it went into the umpire.
Okay. Now, we couldn't have asked for a better opportunity. Now, let's see, who's up now?
Davis says no to any additional help, so that'll bring Elijah McNamee to the plate.
All right, Mac.
Right fielder, 9, Elijah McNamee.
You're a college player. You played high school. You played college. You got an opportunity playing pro. Put that ball down, bunt.
Pinching in is the third baseman, McGarry. And then we expect Ware will probably pinch in once the pitch comes home over there at first. Nobody out.
Nobody out.
Davis at first. The first pitch to Elijah McNamee. On the way. Foul tipped into the netting behind home.
Well, there goes my bunt. He was swinging at the first pitch. But again, Andy's the manager.
Oh, 1 the count for Elijah McNamee. Davis with a healthy lead over there at first. The 0-1 home. Swinging, strike 2.
Oh, boy.
McNamee just a little late to that one. Baez stands on deck. The 0-2 pitch to Elijah McNamee with nobody out and a runner at first. Pushed foul to the right side. We will reset. In fact, Keese is going to have a man come out and talk.
Well, let me say this. I'm hoping that we don't try to steal. Don't give away the winning run. I don't care if the catcher's got a bad arm or what. Don't give up an out.
Be patient out there.
Right.
0-2 count once again to McNamee. He fouled the last pitch off. There's a runner on first in the form of J.R. Davis. Nobody out. Bottom of the ninth. The 0-2 to McNamee. Swinging, strike 3. It rode high and inside on him, and he sits down with the strikeout.
Now, if we had bunted, we would have had the out, but we'd have the runner on second base.
Left fielder, 33, Jeffrey Baez.
Runner at first, 1 out. Jeffrey Baez heading to the plate.
Now, if Baez could get a ball in between left center to go for a double, we may have the runner score, yes. Now he hits the left center over shortstop's head.
First pitch to him, and it's fouled back into the catcher's mask and then goes flying over towards the Otters dugout.
And he was late in that swing. The ball was nearly in the catcher's mitt.
Did want to give you an update there in Schaumburg. It is currently 5-4 Washington Wild Things in the top of the 8th inning. They're actually going to come out and have a check with the catcher, J.P. Fullerton. And he right away says, I'm all good.
Oh, that's an insult when a trainer comes out and asks the catcher if he's hurt. That's an insult.
Florence has expanded their lead to 17-2 at Gateway.
17-2.
17-2 in favor of the Yawls.
Well, they scored 12 runs in that one inning, wasn't it? Or 11?
Going to find this number. It looks like 5 home runs for Florence tonight. That's the difference maker. 0-1 count for Baez with a runner on first and 1 out. And Tanner Keese is going to step off and reset. Continuing to warm for Evansville is Logan Sawyer. I guarantee if we go to a 10th inning, we'll see Logan Sawyer. So the count goes to 0-1 now for Jeffrey Baez. Man at first, 1 out. Low and away, easy one to lay off. The count evens up.
Yeah, but Baez generally chases that particular pitch. I'm surprised he held up. I'm all for these guys having eye checks, whether they see the ball or what, or when do they see the ball last.
A 1-1. Baez foul tips that one away, but because of the foul tip, well, they're actually saying it wasn't foul tipped. It must have hit the catcher's glove, and that was the noise we heard. So Davis is going to get himself into scoring position.
Well, that's good. Anyway, okay, so right now we've got another break. We got the first out. Anyway. Come on, Baez, get a base hit. A base hit, not a home run.
The 1-2 to Jeffrey Baez with a man at second and 1 out. Stays high, and the count evens at 2-2. Big time chance for Jeffrey Baez to be the hero in this one.
Yes, it would be. He hasn't been that productive, I'd say, the second half of the season.
A 2-2. Baez caught swinging for the second out.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter.
I hope it's Phillips.
Dakota Phillips coming in to hit for the Otters for the first time since July the 3rd.
Well, that's great. I was hoping he'd come in and pitch hit for Baez, to be honest with you. Mom, get the Rosa beads out. We really need a base hit to bring this run in to get the win. So, Mom, get the rosaries out.
A huge opportunity for Dakota Phillips to come right back into the lineup and give Evansville one of their biggest hits
and there's
in
time
recent
out.
time.
Here comes time out. You know what? I'm just guessing now. This guy's walking out and saying, put him on. His run don't mean a thing.
It looks like they're going to opt for the lefty-lefty matchup potentially, as they do have a lefty warming in the pin. They might prefer the lefty-lefty matchup instead of the righty-lefty.
Well, we don't know what they're talking about, but again, I gave you my opinion and say, just put him on first.
So the meeting has concluded. No pitching change.
No pitching change.
And they haven't said anything about the intentional walk yet.
Okay. And the left fielder's down. Is he on one knee down there? Oh, he was exercising.
2 outs, runner on second is the game-winning run if Dakota Phillips can bring him home. His first at-bat since July 3rd when he broke his hand at Gateway. First pitch home to Dakota Phillips. Swinging strike one, foul tipped it into the glove of Fullerton.
Nice swing, though.
Hefty cut, yeah.
Nice cut. And that's what you're asking, for him to go up there and swing and bring the run in.
Boy, does this team look different than the last time he took an at-bat This team was flooded with home runs, and that part of the game has started to fade for Evansville. See what Phillips can do now on an 0-1. And time's called by Fullerton. At the time, the Otters had, I think, 4 or 5 men batting 300 plus.
You're right.
Now, it's just Phillips and Rosario.
Yeah, no, you're right. There was quite a few 300 hitters, and there were quite a few home run hitters, too. You had Sensor and Phillips and
0-1 to Phillips. He fouls that one off the foot.
yeah, Bierman. You had three hitters that were potential 10 to 15 home run hitters.
Well, and at that point, not only did Evansville lead the league in home runs, and not by a small margin, it was quite a bit, they were the only team in the league that had more home runs than doubles.
Really?
For a long time, they were averaging 10 or 15 more home runs than doubles.
Oh, boy.
Then finally, that part of the game slowed down.
Well, Dakota's got 2 strikes on him. He cannot be called out for a 3rd strike. If you're going to go down swinging, Dakota.
0-2 count for Phillips. 2 outs and a man at second. A chance to walk this one off. The 0-2 home. Swinging strike 3, and we head to the 10th. Extras needed here from Evansville. Don't go anywhere. 10th inning coming at you next. To the 10th we go, and the Frontier League's top closer enters the game, not in a save situation, but certainly in a chance to help keep the opposition off the board. Logan Sawyer on the mound, and a new catcher to replace Brody Tanksley, who was pinch hit for. Justin Felix in to catch for the Otters now. Due to the special rules, due to the extra innings, J.P. Fullerton, who was the final out in the 9th, he will head out to second base and be the ghost runner in the game. We head to the top of the order where Tyler DePrita Johnson steps in. So again, man at second, nobody out to start the 10th inning. The only run of the season that Sawyer has given up has been a 10th inning ghost runner. Ready for the first pitch home to Tyler DePrita Johnson. They're going to go check on the runner.
I said, was he going to bunt? And yes, he turned around. He was ready to bunt. JR better be ready. And Zach, come on in. If he's going to bunt, get right down his throat.
Runner at second. Nobody out. Starting off this 10th inning. First pitch home to DePrita Johnson. He shows bunts. It stays outside. Ball 1.
See, now what I would have JR stay where he's at right now. Bierman come all the way in and actually be several feet away from the batter so he could feel everything. And we get the runner at third.
A 1-0 count to the plate. Johnson tries to bunt, but it's a called strike. Stayed on that high inside corner.
Do you understand what I was trying to say?
Yeah.
Because if he's going to bunt, all right, Zach, you could be right there on it.
Otters are 2-2 in extra inning games this year.
2-2, that's not too good.
1-1, the count to Tyler DePerta Johnson. Shows bunt again. This one is popped up. Felix catches it for out number 1. It could not have been drawn up any better.
Right.
Third baseman, Matt McGarry.
You know, I know you've watched baseball, you broadcast baseball, you know baseball. How important is bunting? It's one of the arts of the game that no one pays attention to.
Well, I mean, obviously, as a Kansas City fan, the Royals in 2015 won our World Series because we did the small ball right.
Right, exactly.
So I have a special appreciation for it.
Yeah, bunting is so important. And yet, you know, in batting practice, they're supposed to put 2 bunts down, 1 to third, 1 to first, and then they hit 10 or whatever it is. And they don't care about bunting. They just slap at the ball. Okay, throw me so I could swing.
Counts starts afresh for Matt McGarry. 1 out, runner at second. He is the ghost runner out there.
When I was coaching,
swinging strike 1.
I'd be sitting on a bucket right next to that batting cage, and I would say, until you put a fair ball down the third, a fair ball down the first, you don't get any swings. So if you're allowed 10 swings, you just, if you got to double up and take 2 swings at third, 2, now you're only going to get 6 swings.
Well, I don't know if it was because he cranked up so much on that swing, but immediately Matt McGarry turned towards his coaches and grabbed the back of his left calf. Could have just been, looks like it's just a cramp. But as soon as he made that swing, he immediately came up hurting on that left side.
We're going to have a pitch hitter. Oh, no, he got him a drink. Anyway, bunting is so important.
Well, and by getting that out that way, you've potentially set yourself up to, hopefully for the Otters, sneak themselves out of this 10th inning without giving up the run.
Right.
Because that first out is so important to move the runner in this 10th that you could have just cost yourself potentially the game with the pop-up bunt there.
Right. What you're saying in essence is I'm agreeing, and that is the first batter.
0-1 hit towards the third base side, but foul.
The first batter who bunted and was caught by Felix, pop fly, his job is to move the runner to third.
Absolutely.
That's the job of the batter.
I, of course, have not done the research, but I would bet if you look at every single game in the Frontier League that's gone to extra innings, the team that bunt the guy over to third win 9 times out of 10.
Right. I'll agree with you. Because you got 2 chances to score.
Yeah.
Or a wild pitch.
Yeah. Just about anything does it at that
right.
point. 0-2 to McGarry. Put foul to the right side. Lives to see another pitch.
You know, when I was coaching in high school, I used to tell the kids, swing at everything, put the ball in play. Who's to say the shortstop, second base, and right fielder are going to make the play? And if they do, are they going to make good throws to first base, whatever?
There's question marks surrounding everything.
Everything. My daughter, Lord be good to her, is in heaven right now. Cindy, my oldest daughter.
0-2 to McGarry. Again fouled.
She played on the softball team in Cedarville, New Jersey. State champs. Played third base. Her coach, they never stopped running. What they did is they forced you to make mistakes. And my high school coach, I was athletic director at the time, and my high school coach, and she comes to me and she said, Bill, we're playing your daughter's team today. You got any advice? I said, yes. Every time the ball's in play, throw it to third base. Why? I said, because they don't stop running. So you'll head them off at the pass. Anyway, that's why they were state champs.
0-2 is the count for Matt McGarry. Ghost runner at second, 1 out, top of the 10th inning. Logan Sawyer kicks and delivers. Got him looking. A called strike 3 on the rare off speed there from Logan Sawyer, and he had him lost.
He mesmerized that batter. You know, let me just say one more thing about my daughter's high school team. They were runner-up in the field hockey, which she was the leading scorer. But they were a runner-up for state basketball as well. They had women coaches that coached like men. They didn't say, you know, oh, we're going to have tea during halftime. Come on over and have some cookies and tea. They treated the girls like boys. That's why they were good athletes, good coaches. If you're going to play a sport, play it hard.
0-1 count to Matt Feinstein. Ghost runner at second, 2 outs. Pitch comes home. It's skied up in the infield. George Khalil runs in. He's got a play on it, and he brings it in for out number 3. We go to the 10th. Evansville has a chance to win it there. Don't go anywhere. The 10th is next. Bottom of the 10th, and we have a pinch pitcher. I called it the bullpen. A new pitcher on the mound for Joliet. Tyler J. will be the one to man things on the mound, the lefty. And I almost said pinch runner. I mean the ghost runner is Justin Felix, since he came in and filled in defensively for Dakota Phillips. It's Felix heading out to second to be the ghost runner, and Tyler J. on the mound.
Okay, now who we got batting up now?
Andy Armstrong, George Khalil, and Miles Gordon.
But Andy's batting first.
Yeah.
And we couldn't ask for a better bunter. So we
might
better
have
be
men on
bunting
first
him
and
over.
third. Yeah. Throwout has been completed, and we are ready for baseball in the 10th. Felix mans second base.
Second baseman, Andy Armstrong.
And for the first time tonight, the Otters are going to face a lefty on the mound.
Let me ask: do we have who do we have on the bench that could run? I mean, fast. In other words, if we get a run around third, I'd rather have someone that could speed at home on a short fly ball.
So the legs available,
right,
it's just now Tanner Craig. He's the only other one available since Felix and Phillips have both been used.
Can he run?
First ball is popped up, and it's a pop-up bunt for Andy Armstrong to kick off this bottom of the 10th, just like it was in the top of the 10th.
And yet, what Andy, the one I praise about all the time, the best hitter, what did he try to do? He tried to drag bunt and run to make a, oh my God. Andy, you should have stayed at home plate and left the ball, whatever.
So it now brings up
That's
George
101
Khalil with
baseball.
1 out and still the ghost runner out at second, Justin Felix.
I tell you what, we commit more. I don't know.
First pitch to Khalil, low and inside, ball 1. That brings Miles Gordon to the on-deck circle.
You know what? This might sound crazy to you. But, you know, if I got back into coaching, and I wouldn't, I don't care what, but if I was back into coaching, you know what I'd do? I'd make every batter right 50 times what a sacrifice bunt is. Meaning, stay at home, put the ball down, don't try to beat it out for a base hit. Your job is not to get on base, it's to move the runner over.
1-1 to Khalil. Half swung on as it stayed inside on him. Fouled away for ball 2, strike 2.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Assuming we go into the 11th, we change the rules of the game, don't we?
Yeah, it's the sudden death, Frontier League sudden death.
So, you know, we can lose more ball games by stupid baseball.
1 ball, 2 strikes to George Khalil. Pitch comes home, inside.
Strike
No, it's a
3.
called strike 3. Khalil
Strike
thought it was
3.
inside 2, but it managed to find the zone, and it's a second out now.
Edward Jones.
Strike
the
3.
Center field 6, Miles
So that
Gordon.
brings up the center fielder, Miles Gordon. The last hope in the 10th to give the Otters a win.
We've had runners on second. We've had runners on third. We can't bring them home.
Justin Felix standing on second as the ghost runner here. Miles Gordon hoping to be the one who brings him home. First pitch to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter, Gordon, is outside for ball 1.
You know, I played for a prep school coach that is immortalized. And one day we were playing, and we had Vinny Vellecci, or Vinny whatever. And Joe Kasperger said, Vinny, take the fungo out. He said, you don't swing at the pitches anyway. You might as well just have the fungo. Would you believe Vinny grabbed the fungo? He did. He struck out. But again, if you're not going to swing, why have a bat?
1-1 count for Miles Gordon. 2 outs and a runner at second. Bottom of the 10th inning. 1-1 is swung on and missed by Gordon. Hefty cut.
What was that, 86?
That's what it looks like.
It looks like, to me, I would thought that was in the 90s, that pitch.
And with some of the errors that this speed gun has, it very well could have been.
Yeah, I thought it was in that had flames shooting out of it.
1-2 to Gordon. Outside, evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah, we were bragging last night or today, how brilliant the Otters played last night. They're not playing the same game tonight.
They've had everything going except the bats, so that's a major point. 2-2 to Miles Gordon. Swinging strike 3, and we will go to the first edition of Sudden Death Baseball for the Otters here in 2022.
We are now in sudden death mode here.
So the way that this works, we'll go ahead and keep it here for right now. The way that it works here is the managers will meet again. Since Evansville's the home team, the Otters will get to choose if they want to field or if they want to bat. And already Andy's telling his guys to get on the field. So the Otters will field, which means Joliet gets a man at first and 3 outs. They bring him home, they win. They fail to bring him home, the Otters win.
Otters are electing.
They start with a runner on first.
So Joliet will get a man on first
Right.
here in the top of the, they don't call it the 11th, they call it the sudden death inning.
Right.
And their man at first needs to score in those 3 outs. If he doesn't, Evansville wins. You don't
Okay.
play a bottom half.
So the Otters don't have to bat.
No, they got to choose fielding or batting.
Okay.
And Andy
so
chose.
Andy made the right choice.
He chose to bring Logan Sawyer back out, which
Right.
in my book is certainly the right
Right.
choice.
So Andy took the advantage.
Yeah.
I'll agree with him.
Now, there are some teams, take maybe Tri-City, who is one of the worst pitching teams and one of the best batting teams. They might want to bat, but
Right.
Evansville's got one of the best pitching staffs in the entire league and one of the best defenses, too. This is a no-brainer in my book.
I agree with you. You got the best pitcher. You got the best defensive infield. I mean, really, when you look at it, Bierman at first, Armstrong second, George at short. I know JR has errors on throwing because he always takes that extra skip. Have you noticed when he throws? Before he'll feel the ball, he'll always take that extra skip before he releases it. And I think that's where his bad throws come. But anyway, you got the best defensive infield. You're right. The advantage is with the Otters.
The runner at first is going to be, I think, Kyle Jacobson.
Now, do you have your choice? I mean, does the guy have to be in the game or what?
And that's what I'm not sure on because we haven't had this iteration. It looks like they're putting Kyle Jacobson out there who has not been in the game yet. So they must get a free choice.
So in other words, what I'm trying to say is you're going to put your best runner, your fastest runner to score if he gets on second.
And that's what it is. Kyle Jacobson will head out there to first as the...
Okay. So what you're saying is right now you bunt him to second base and you hope he can score on a single.
Briley Ware will be the one to start off the half inning for Joliet. And the way that this half inning works for statistics, because it's weird that only one team is doing it, any stats acquired in this inning do not count.
Oh, really?
So if Sawyer gives up a run here, because of the weird rules, it doesn't count against his. And if Ware gets an RBI, it doesn't count against his.
Right, and it doesn't count at bat.
Yeah, and this is not a run if Jacobson comes around to score because of the way the rules are strange.
Right, okay.
So Sawyer's on the mound, pitching home to Briley Ware. First pitch comes home.
Strike.
And misses for ball one. So you still take over in the three where you were at in the lineup. So it will be Ware, Coots, and Bearmore for Joliet. You just get to choose the guy at first.
Yeah. And, of course, you don't want this guy bunting. He's your best hitter, right?
The 1-0 home. The guy's going towards second. Khalil will not have a choice but just to throw it to first for the 1 out. The hit and run worked to perfection.
Exactly. He's not running. It's a double play in the round of the inning. You're right.
Designated hitter, 17, Jackson Boots.
You know, that's the first time I've seen hit and run in quite a bit. It's not utilized that much in this.
Not very much. So that'll bring up now Jackson Coots.
Well, you know, I was talking about bunting him to second. Well, he's on second now. It's just as well as a bunt.
Pitch comes home for a called strike on the outside. And, you know, we talked with Justin Watland before the game, and he said last night was unique because it was one of the first times we've seen Sawyer put in a bit of a tough situation last night, and he worked through it, and we saw some of the most emotion from him when he got that save finalized. This is a big situation for him.
Oh, yeah, right.
0-1 for Jackson Coots. Swinging, strike two.
Well, generally when the relief pitcher comes in, the runners on base are not his.
Yeah.
So if they score, it doesn't affect the pitcher's ERA. So now when you start this off, that runner on second belongs to this pitcher here.
Because by choosing pitching, your manager, Andy McCauley, has put his faith in you as the guy who can get you through this scenario.
Right.
0-2 to Jackson Coots, and he'll step out.
Well, we've got that old situation. No balls, 2 strikes. Don't throw a strike.
Sawyer nods home towards Felix.
I would throw it high up in letters.
Fires home the 0-2. It's sent foul.
But that looked like it was a pitch right down the middle.
I thought it was a little more up and in, but it was hard to tell.
Well,
An 0-2 to Coots. Zoomed out towards right center. Gordon and McNamee will chase back towards it. Gordon at the warning track brings it in for out number 2. It will advance the runner to third. So it is all going to come down to Lane Baremore.
And Felix, the catcher.
Fielder 39, Lane Baremore.
We can't have no pass balls.
It will all depend on this at-bat between Logan Sawyer and Lane Baremore. Game on the line, and for Joliet, potentially part of their playoff hopes on the line. These are must-win games for them. First pitch, swinging strike one, way out of the zone, and Baremore chased it.
What does that say for speed, velocity?
I didn't even
up
see
there?
it pop up that time.
Well, I didn't either, but I'm going to tell you what. That was at least a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Wouldn't surprise me with Logan Sawyer.
Wow, he did. He unloaded on that.
An 0-1 to Lane Baremore. Hit right back up at Sawyer. He picks it up. His throw to first is there in time. The Otters get the win.
I was going to say, the Otters win now,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
Okay.
It's a rare 2-2 win in favor of Evansville. They win the series. It's 3 straight series wins for Evansville. They are in prime position to keep controlling their own destiny towards these
Well, I
playoffs.
tell you what.
College night tomorrow.
They ought to look up the little sky and say, thank you, Lord, because they had so many opportunities to win, and we blew it. And now to come back, outstanding pitching is what it was. Relief pitching. I'm going to say relief pitching.
And the pitching did its job tonight. And
Yes.
to be fair, the defense did almost everything perfect. The one error led to a couple of runs, and they ended up being big for Joliet. But this was another pitching performance where they can firmly say, we did our job. Unfortunately, the bats weren't quite there tonight.
You're exactly right. Otherwise, it was good pitching. It was good fielding. It was no hitting. So therefore, to win more or less on defense. In other words, holding those runners in the International League in this boom, boom, whatever, 10th, 11th inning you call it. I mean, give the Otter defense the gold star. And a gold star for every one of the pitchers who threw in the game tonight.
Well, and, this was a game that you and I coming in, I said, keep an eye on this game. I think we have got 2 starters here who could really go well into this game, could both pitch very solid games, could make it so we're in the 6th, 7th inning with no score. That wasn't the case, but we had very little score even into those innings. You really had to strike on your opportunity. Evansville did that their first couple chances they had, but unfortunately there are a couple glaring holes that Evansville is certainly going to be looking at saying we should have been able to strike there.
Right. Well, again, I go back to O'Reilly's. He had an 0-2 count. Fastballs, the guy couldn't keep up with it, and then he broke a curveball that didn't break too well, hung up there. The guy singled. That's when the run scored, and that's what put us in the hole. Outside of that, the Otters dominated the whole game.
Well, the bright side is Evansville does get the win. They win the series. They're in a place right now where they are still controlling their own destiny, which is what you want. I want to take another look at Schaumburg because the Boomers have come from behind to win 6-5 against Washington.
They beat Washington.
And Schaumburg and Evansville will stay tied at second, with Evansville, of course, owning the tiebreaker. That is a huge win for Schaumburg.
Yes.
3 first-inning runs against you, and you come back like that.
Yes,
That says a lot
okay.
about you.
I was going to say the Otters were solidly in second place now, but not now.
Do want to walk you through a couple other things around the league. Lake Erie defeated Windy City 9-1. Ottawa defeated Tri-City. That's a big win for Ottawa, who was really starting to lose some ground there in the East. Quebec is about to finish off an 8-4 win at Trois-Rivières. New York got a 5-4 win at New Jersey. Sussex County victors over Empire State 6-3. Like I mentioned, Schaumburg got the 6-5 win against Washington. Florence finished out their big scoring game with a 17-4 win at Gateway. Big win there for the Yalls, who we will see later in the week. Our game, a 2-2 win for Evansville as they held Joliet scoreless in our sudden death 11th inning. First time we've had the chance to see that all season long. This one feels good. You struggled in pieces, but you get the win. At the end of the day, you can say, let's put this one away, build towards tomorrow.
Well, what you do is you look at all the mistakes made today and you say, okay, that's history. Tomorrow's a new day. So we're playing for tomorrow. We're not going to replay today's game.
Well, tomorrow we've got a lefty-righty matchup on the mound. Steve Moyers will get just his second start of the year for Joliet. He's 1-0 with an 0.75 ERA, a lefty. He'll face off against the righty Zach Smith, who's making his second start of the year for Evansville. The righty Zach Smith is 1-1 officially with a 1.20 ERA. Should be a fun matchup between two guys who have started to find some momentum as starting pitchers. Just like always, Bill and I will join you here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports to bring you every pitch, but we'd love to see you in person too. 6:35 is our first pitch here from historic Bosse Field. From all of us here at the Evansville Otters, he's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Will saying so long from beautiful Bosse Field. We'll talk to you tomorrow night as Joliet and Evansville play for the final time in 2022.
God bless.